Hi, it's me, and that's him, and we're the Sci-Fi Scholars.
And we're talking Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. As always, to stay spoiler free, click on Superman symbol right there.
So, Wish Wellington, you said you couldn't wait for Batman vs. Superman. Now you don't have to. Justice has dawned.
Oh yeah. I can't even talk right now.
So the movie starts off with a bit of Batman and showing how the events of the end of the Man of Steel influences Batman and Bruce Wayne's opinion of the Man of Steel.
Yeah.
At the end of the Man of Steel, we saw some interaction with Wayne Tower getting attacked, basically as collateral damage. And now we see the more human side of the people in the city and how that affects their lives. It plays out a bit further into the movie, and we also see more of the childhood of Batman as well.
And it's also like you get to see a bit of the view of the public's opinion of Superman.
Yeah.
And, the fear that if Superman actually existed in our world would actually happen.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. That was cool how they played into that with the whole, My words are not coming out right now.
Yeah, it plays heavily into the public polls of a major world event. Like, every major world event we have on Earth, when people demonstrate they have power, other people are like, not sure. But some people are like, no, they're using it for good. Some people are like, yeah, but they could use it for bad. Or, I just don't agree with them using it for this at all.
Bruce Wayne even says to Alfred at one point in the movie, if there's even a 1% chance that he might be an enemy, we have to treat that as the absolute truth.
Yeah, but
that's the whole context.
That's partly because Batman comes from a perspective of everyone's a suspect.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like the whole that he treats him that way because of it's a little bit of fear.
Yeah, but Batman as a vigilante hero is always being portrayed as instilling fear in others because that's the side of life that he understands.
Yes, and his caution with Superman is that he doesn't believe anybody should have that amount of power.
Yeah.
And that, he's got to put in a contingency or treat him as the enemy to stop that from ever being him being the enemy.
Yeah, but the problem there is he makes an enemy where there wasn't one.
He does, yes.
Which you see play out in a bunch of other movies and stuff as well.
But also in this movie, Superman sees Batman as the enemy.
Yes.
He sees that Batman goes around getting justice the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't even see it as Batman getting justice. He sees it as
committing crimes.
As a guy who's committing crimes.
Which Bruce Wayne admits that he is. It doesn't admit it to Clark Kent or Superman, but he does say, like, we were always criminals. We were never on the right side of the law, even though it suggests that the police are working with Batman.
Yeah.
The police kind of endorse him and are thankful for his help. It suggests during this movie, when he starts branding people, that maybe even the police are now getting a bit wary that Batman hasn't been reined in early enough and he's now going too far.
Yeah, and that's because this is an older Batman who's been at it for 20, 30 years, which I thought was a cool way of going about it. That nobody's, like, in the scene in Gotham when you first see Batman in his costume, there's police officers going through a lair of criminals of some sort, and one of the officers has never seen Batman and even makes a comment to his partner. He's like, I saw him.
Yeah, I've never seen him before.
I'd never seen him before. I saw him with my own eyes, and he almost shoots his own partner.
But it's also a bit tricky because it doesn't make sense why he's shooting at Batman.
Well, I think it's because they've gotten to the point where they now fear him.
Yeah.
Not as a helpful crime fighter, but as someone who's gone too far now. And I really like the introduction of him in his suit.
Yeah.
Because there's this you focused on the officer, and then in the background, blurred out, you just see Batman hanging on a wall, just chilling.
Right up in the corner.
Right in the corner, just like ready to pounce when he needed to. Not wanting to, but needing to. When he needed to, he does. And it's like, that was a really cool reveal of him in his suit.
Yeah, and well, actually, the first thing you see of him is one of the batarangs.
Well, you see a batarang, but you don't see him.
Yeah, but that's the
first indication of that he's there.
Yeah, and that's also done well because a lot of the time the batarangs are skipped.
Yes.
Recently, like some of the more recent films and other media doesn't focus on them, but like in some of the older comics, they were kind of a bit more of a big deal.
Yeah, and he still uses them quite regularly in comics and some of the animated films. I thought that was a really cool reveal of Batman. I mean, you already had seen Batman because you'd seen Bruce Wayne, but you saw him in his suit, and I freaking love his suit.
His suit is great.
If it feels like it's peeled from the comic books.
Yeah,
because it technically was The Dark Knight Returns. It's pretty much the identical suit. Obviously adapted a little bit for film, but I love the suit.
Yeah, the suit's done really well. It does kind of amuse me that his suit and Superman's suit looks like they were made from very similar materials. On the arms at first, when you see, it's like, wait, like, obviously they're different, they're a bit different texturing, but you could imagine them being made of the same, like, to see them at first, like, you could imagine they're actually, like, some costume designers, like, these guys are idiots, they don't even know who, some manufacturer, like, Tony Stark kind of a deal, these idiots don't even know they're working on the same goal, like, kind of a deal, like, superhero suits are us is like making them for everyone, and it's just like these guys are retarded. Like,
but I think there was enough difference that after you get if you from the initial look, you kind of has that, but then you actually look at it and you go, yeah, that's two totally different sort of materials, but a similar sort of texture and look.
Yes.
And that's obviously the look they decided to go for with the film, which I liked, because I really like Superman's suit as well.
Yeah, his suit's really good as well.
Again, probably needed to be a little bit brighter in the reds and the blues, but the whole tone of the movie, it suits not being so bright.
It is the DC universe is a darker, grittier.
Yeah, universe. It's much darker, grittier, and it's got a bit more of a it's desaturated a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like with the Superman stuff, it could have been a little bit more saturation, but with the Batman and Bruce Wayne stuff, it was perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you want for it. You don't that look is correct, and it's even more so because his suit's only grey and black.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have any color.
It's possible they'll bring in more color when some of the other heroes.
I reckon they will.
Like
the Flash would particularly,
because they call him the Red Line or something. There's in one of the files that Luthor had. Some of the names of them was like Red Streak or Red Line.
You have Red Streak, and then they have Scarlet Speedster is another. That's a comic nickname that wasn't in there.
Yeah, so they
didn't read all of them, and didn't have enough time.
Well, yeah, there's so many Easter eggs throughout this entire thing.
I was giddy.
Like,
you were sitting next to me. I was making
12-year-old girl noises.
I really was, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm sitting there just going, biggest smile on my face when they bring up the files, and there's the Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman symbols. And he clicks on them, and you see the bits, and I'm just going.
And it was done. It was done cleverly because you only really see Bruce go into Wonder Woman stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see him
start
with. But then later on, you see Wonder Woman going through the other files.
Yes.
As being like Bruce is now showing off that like, yes, I share too, and
yeah. But what I really liked about it is they weren't ultra subtle.
No.
Which is not what they wanted because they're trying to set it up. But it wasn't like, bam, we got superheroes. It was kind of like, it came in an organic way that it makes sense that Lex Luthor would have.
He'd be investigating everything and everyone because he's a nutcase and he's terrified that his own way of running the Earth is not going to be fulfilled, which is why he pits them against each other. Which
I really liked because they used the Lex Luthor, the manipulator, and the evil genius.
And I'm pretty sure that he was deliberately leaking stuff to Batman.
He was.
Like, it doesn't explicitly state that, but it's very along the lines of, yes, I'm leaking stuff to you. Like, his second command sees Batman putting the device there and basically goes upstairs and reports, yes, he's taken the bat. All off camera, but it's strongly
suggested particularly at the end when with Lex having Superman up on the roof of his tower and then telling him that he's got his mum and saying, I've set it up so that the greatest human warrior that we have, which even Lex Luthor considers to be Batman, up against a god. He even calls it, the
man versus god, the greatest greatest gladiator fight ever.
Yeah, which I think was in the trailer.
Yes.
Anyway, it's really cool how he manipulates Superman into actually fighting him, because Superman doesn't agree with the way Batman goes about it and pretty much tells him to stop. Like, confronts him, takes out his car, his Batmobile, almost, and then rips open the thing, and you see this awesome shot of Batman just stand up in his thing and toe-to-toe with Superman, and Superman pretty much say, stop what you're doing or I'm going to put you down.
You may be the playground bully, but, like, I'm actually the boss around here.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool because it showed that the Superman has evolved. He's like, okay, I'm gonna give him a warning, let him stop, and then he's even says to Lex he doesn't want to fight Batman.
Yeah.
The only reason he does is because otherwise he can't save his mother. And his whole point that he even says to Lois is, I'm going to go and try and convince him or put him down. So he was like, I'm going to convince him to help me, or I will put him down and drag him to Lex.
Or he has to die, yeah.
I don't think he would have killed him if he had to, but I don't reckon if he got put in that situation, I don't think he would have ended up doing so. He would have just dragged Batman to Lex's feet.
Well, because
still alive.
Luther said he wanted Batman's head. He didn't
specify
it had to be disconnected.
Yes. So I think Superman, if he had the opportunity, would have beaten him and then just dragged him to Lex and gone, give him your mother back.
Which Lex would not have done, but
but I thought that was really clever. Of the way they wrote Lex was actually really smart, and I feel like his casting was spot on with Jesse Eisenberg for the type of Lex they went for.
Yes.
In the casting choices, I was a little bit wary. I'll be honest. I was like, I stood off and went, I'll wait and see how they go before I say whether I like the casting or not. And I think Jesse Eisenberg was the perfect choice for the Lex Luthor that they have, which is not your straight up and down, I'm a CEO of a company. I am so awesome. Like he is in the comics and he is in the animated series a lot. They take his maniacal evil genius side,
supervillain side,
manipulative side, and give him that little bit of that edge that I thought worked really, really well, and I was really, really impressed. I thought this is a cool Lex Luthor. He's intimidating, but not because of his stature, and not because of his look or the way he acts himself. He's so scatterbrained,
and he's a little bit he's a bit unpredictable, but you also know that he's scheming at the same time. Yeah,
and I really like that. Like his announcement at that thing that Bruce Wayne goes to, he's talking and then all of a sudden he goes down this dark path and then just goes, have a good night.
Yeah. And then, wow. And then afterwards, he's like laughing that he's brought Bruce Wayne and Peter Parker together.
Clark Kent.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Clark Kent. Yeah, but... that was clever of me. But still, like, he's laughing that he's brought them together, which tells the audience, yes, I know who these guys are.
Yes. That was a cool little underlying current with, because you didn't know that at that point that he knew who they were.
No.
Which he obviously does at the end of the movie, because he even says that he knows who Bruce Wayne is, and that obviously he captures Martha Kent, so he knows that Superman and Clark Kent are one of the same.
Yeah. So
and he obviously manipulates from the start with Lois in that
desert
in whatever country she was.
It looked like Nairobi, but it was spelt slightly different.
Wherever it was,
in
with
Africa.
His special forces that he had there. He knew that Superman and was manipulating the public to fear Superman.
Yeah.
Making it look like it was Superman that went evil. Then blowing up the the hearing that Superman actually goes to.
I think that was partially an attempt to see if a normal explosion would even harm.
Oh, it was both.
But it did throw more shade on and more...
Even though people said they knew that it wasn't Superman who blew it up, but it's the question of it leaves the question with everyone, and they're going to ask it, did he have a chance to save everyone and everyone? And even he believes that he should have checked.
He believes he should have done more, and they all like, well, did he know? If he did know and didn't save everyone, is he complicit?
Yeah.
And if he didn't know, it throws some doubt on his powers. Because Lex's thing is, if you have absolute power, you can't be absolutely good. But Superman hasn't ever actually claimed to be all-powerful.
Yes. So
it would have been hilarious for me in that line where Lex is going, if you're all powerful, you can't be all good. For him to reply, well, I'm not all powerful, and just like just turn to leave, and then Lex come back with the "I've got your mother" thing.
That would have been an interesting...
Because Superman has never believed himself to be all powerful
or to be a god. He sees himself as human.
Yeah,
and that's actually in the comics one of the things that Batman has a problem with Superman is that he's like, you've got all this power, yet you try to live as a human.
Yeah,
and I find that an interesting dynamic in the comics,
which is flipped on its head in this movie because it's seeing his humanity, which convinces Batman actually he's not an enemy.
Yes, which is cool. I really really like the way they led up. There's no real enemy.
No,
until the very, very end.
It's a conflict of ideals, like conflict of methodology. Like Batman bringing instilling fear into criminals. Like, you can't get away with this. If you try to do this, you'll be forced and crushed, and you'll be branded, and there's no hope. And there is no hope for you.
And whereas Superman, the thing being is, the brand was a death sentence in prison.
Yeah, and then Superman's coming along and saying, doesn't matter what the circumstances are. There is help. There is hope. Like, so they're bringing so Superman's trying to bring the status quo up, whereas Batman's just trying to suppress the evil.
Yeah.
Which both are trying to achieve better humanity
and a similar
enlightenment, less crime, but the methodology is very different.
And they see each other as
a problem, going
the wrong way about it. But I really liked. Sorry, I'll cut you off again. I'm pretty excited about this movie if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I really liked how you interleaved these two stories without... There wasn't heaps of action.
No.
But it was this really rollicking ride that kept going and you're just going, when's this going to happen? How's this going to happen? And it's not until like...
Three
quarters before Batman and Superman actually fight.
And
they don't even technically have an enemy at that point. They kind of do with Lex, but he's not a full-on enemy at that point. And it's not until after their fight, which I'll get to later because I've got a lot of that about that they then have an enemy in Doomsday.
Yeah, because the first time they go up against each other, it's just you stop and Batman's just more suspicious of him than ever.
Trying to get the kryptonite from Lex Luthor.
Which he doesn't. Well, Superman doesn't know what he's doing. He just thinks he's picking on bad guys, criminals again. Lex knows exactly what he's doing because he's been manipulating Batman for who knows how long.
And Superman.
Yeah. So he doesn't know how long. Like, Batman's going after this kryptonite for this secret weapon to take down Superman, but we don't know how long he's getting influenced by Lex. And, of course... by this point, we've also been introduced to Wonder Woman as this person who's interfering.
We know as an audience it is Wonder Woman, but it's not revealed that it is Wonder Woman.
No, it's later. Some if it's obviously I saw the trailer, so and because the imagery, but there's this other woman stealing Wayne's stuff,
and she even explicitly says, "Oh, she was only borrowing it," because she gives it back.
Yeah, by breaking into his car and leaving it in his glove box. Which is a little bit of a, screw you, I can break into things, I can break into places and mess with his stuff too.
Oh yeah, I'm just as good as you are.
I
did like that dynamic between those two. That was a really cool play on it.
And then later on when he sends her the emails, guys can share
Boys
too.
Boys can share too.
But the email, so obviously I got your photo, it's not yours, it is you, right? But then the two questions underneath seems slightly out of character for how much he's afraid of Superman. He's not as accusatory of her because he seems to believe she's human, but somehow old.
Yeah, but that's
whereas Superman is obviously alien and super powerful, but he's really suspicious there, but not suspicious of her.
And that's also because of the massive showdown with Zod.
Okay.
Because of the massive showdown with Zod, the Superman ineffectively, without meaning to, kills a whole heap of Wayne Enterprises employees and destroys a whole building of Wayne Enterprises. So he's seen the destruction that Superman can create and do, but he hasn't seen that of Wonder Woman. And he's also looked at he's probably looked at the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman files as well and seen that they're from Earth, not from space.
Well,
you, none of them are. They're from Earth. Atlantis is on Earth.
Yeah, but the thing is
from Earth.
But the files wouldn't be able to go back far enough to show. Obviously, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are really old compared to humans. Yeah, so there's no way Lex would be able to have files showing they were born on Earth or anything.
That's true, yes.
So they've been on Earth for a very long time and not caused any problems.
And that's why Batman's not so distrustful of them, because he's been like, hey, you guys have been here for
a while and not
100 years in Wonder Woman's sense.
Yeah.
And so he's going, those questions make a lot more sense in that context, because
you've been doing nothing.
Or nothing to warrant me to think you're evil, or that you're
but
going
even
to
like people don't even know you exist.
Yeah,
and
whereas
you
with
haven't
Superman,
drawn any other forces down.
Obviously, there's a Wonder Woman movie coming out which we'll explore back in the World War One with Steve Trevor and stuff, which was really cool because that photo had Steve Trevor right next to him, Chris Pine. I was like, oh, that's so cool. That was another little girl squee moment of mine. Anyway, but yeah, that's the difference of the distrust and less distrust, because I don't think he still trusts her. He's just a bit of she's proven herself a little bit to him in the sense that, yes, he also distrusts Lex Luthor. She stole from him, but then also gave it back to him.
And said she couldn't crack the files.
Yes.
Which is why he sent her the decrypted version. Otherwise, I guess it would have been a little bit of he decrypts it, wouldn't bother attaching all the stuff, and it's been like, what the hell's your deal, and do you know these guys?
Yeah. I really liked that. Yeah, so Wonder Woman got a chance to look at that, and then when Wonder Woman shows up in the Doomsday fight, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself again.
The two of them are like, she's with you. No, wait, what? She's with no one?
She's like,
what the hell's this deal?
She with you? I was like, I thought she was with you.
Yeah. Which is also why I was a little bit confused why Batman doesn't have a problem with her. Because if he's assuming that she's with Superman, like it's...
At that moment, but he doesn't know but until then that woman that she had talked to is Wonder Woman. That woman that shows up at the end, it's not until then that he puts two and two together and then goes, is she with you? I was like, I thought she was with you, because she came in that moment to save Batman after they become friends.
Yeah, okay.
But before that, he didn't know
where she was, like,
where she lie or where she stood or what she did. He only saw her at the Lex Luthor galas.
Yeah. That
he put on, and that
and the other discussed, and then in the files where you'd seen.
Yes.
So
there's so many like Batman's fighting style in this I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
There's this really cool moment, one of my favorite parts of the movie, which actually only happens to be a dream, is you see Batman in a trench coat in the desert walking up, and then he has a gun in his hand. That was an homage, I reckon, to the very first Batman comic where he wears a trench coat and has a gun.
I reckon it would be like...
But the cool thing about that, he looked badass as well, is that when the camera sweeps over to a massive wide shot over the top of Batman's, there's an Omega symbol.
Yeah.
A little... And if you're like me, you know what that means.
That means the end of the alphabet.
Yeah, it's Darkseid. And that to me, these guys didn't pick up on it, who we went with. I'm a massive DC Comics nerd. Yeah. So this is something I pick up on. And it was only there for like a second. Yeah. And a lot of guys like me will pick that up. But that was like a really cool moment, just over the top. And it's just like, okay. And then we cut. Yeah. And I was like, ah. That was probably one of the moments you heard me. And then it goes in and trying to get the kryptonite. And then it doesn't end up being kryptonite. He gets betrayed by Superman goons, which had Superman symbols on the side. It's a dream sequence.
I think it's playing into the fact he knows that Superman was in the African event and there was a lot of guns there.
Yes.
So I think it's playing off Batman's superstitious nature, which is why he's considered one of the best detectives. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the comics actually relates him to being Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, it does.
As detective, like
on par with him, yes.
Yeah, he's considered one of the greatest detectives of all time because he's so suspicious that he just bothers to spend the time investigating everyone.
But that scene there was really cool, because then it goes into the fight where he gets the goons that come up, and then he gets in the mood. He's like, oh crap, and then they shoot all the guys that are with him, and so then he just goes nuts and takes out like 15 guys, and there's this awesome, like, this is cinematography me loving in this moment. He comes out of this truck that he's standing in and then takes out like 10 or 15 guys, and it's a single shot.
Yes.
And the coolest thing about it is it didn't look like a typical bad guy superhero movie where people fight.
I'll attack
one
you,
at a
then
time.
he can attack you.
He'll be like, I'll go, you'll go, he'll go. It was, he fought 2 or 3 at a time, 1 or 2. But he was shooting them with the guns and everything.
Yeah, he
was helping people.
And like, it wasn't all that they just attacked him. He was like fighting 2 guys, and then he attacks a 3rd guy because that guy is about to take someone else out.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's not even like he's just getting mobbed. He's so confident in his belief of what needs to happen that he's just going to take on everyone that's within his range of influence that he can actually possibly take on at once.
And it was an awesome shot. And then he jerks awake from it, and I was just like, I don't care that was a dream sequence. That was bloody badass.
Yeah, but before then, you see him get subdued by overly many.
Yeah, it was like at least 6 guys.
Superman rocks up, just instantly laserizes one guy, which shows you.
Oh yeah, because that's right. He goes
Batman
underground.
is afraid, which is what Batman's afraid of. Batman is afraid of the explosive power that Superman has over everyone else, and that he can just wipe people out. So he doesn't really necessarily believe Superman will, but he thinks there's that chance. Like, how bad will it go if Superman isn't 100% good?
Yes.
Like, if there's a hint of him not being good, there will be a situation where he does this, or that there will be something that he's afraid of, and he'll react, because that's how Batman lives his life. He knows fear and the power of fear, and what he himself will do.
Oh yeah, because
to avoid it.
Kills him in that dream.
Yeah,
and that's why he jerks awake, and then immediately after, get a glimpse of the Flash,
which I'm not certain
whether it was a dream sequence or not.
Yeah, or
they played it up like it was, because he jerks awake from that dream sequence of Superman, and then shortly after, like almost immediately after, the Flash, kind of like in a mech suit, then pops out of the mech suit and is just like, you were right not to trust him, basically, stuff like that, and then tries to give something to him, and then he jerks awake again.
So it's either he was asleep, or the Flash is actually warning him about Luthor.
Yeah.
Which I think...
That's actually what he's warning him, I reckon.
I think he is awake, but Flash has come back to warn him that the stuff in the desert was Luthor manipulating Lois Lane, as opposed to being Superman. But he doesn't say any names, so it infers that...
It's Superman, because we just had a dream sequence where Superman was a bad guy.
Yeah, so it's very, very sneaky again with the
But then they do snap him awake again, but what I reckon happened is he did see that in the real, like that, and it ties in later when massive spoilers, Superman dies at the Clark Kent funeral, and then Wonder Woman's there and saying that Batman goes, we need to find those guys and get them ready to fight, and then Wonder Woman's like, what makes you think they're gonna fight? And he goes, just a feeling.
Yeah.
And that plays into the dream with the Omega symbol, and that not necessarily Superman was the dream that Superman was bad. It was actually Darkseid, and Darkseid has very similar powers to Superman with the Omega beams, but Omega beams actually follow and lock onto targets anyway. He shoots similar sort of, and it just disrupts and doesn't make fire. It just, Omega beams make you cease to exist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just really liked that little tie-in where he was just like, I've got a hunch. And it's just like, Batman always has that hunch, and majority of the time is correct. And anyway, that's just another one of those.
And even, like, it even throws back to the times when Batman basically had, like, repellent sprays for everything. With the repellent sprays for everything, because he uses the gas canisters, which, when I saw them, him making the aerosolized kryptonite, before he puts it in the smoke grenades, At first, I thought he was going to make like a pepper spray out of it. Which, like, okay, if you've seen the other versions with repellent sprays for everything, he literally has repellent sprays for everything.
It's so true.
I'm pretty sure he has. I'm pretty certain there's one where he has a car crash repellent. Like he's about to crash and he sprays the car crash repellent so he doesn't crush whatever it was he's about to crash into. Like it's to the level of like Joker silliness.
Oh, that's the old TV series, the 60s TV series, which was a really campy time for Batman.
Which was... It's still... But this movie is throwing homage to, like, the entirety of these guys' careers.
I really liked the way that Batman used the aerosol. Like, it was a really cool way to use kryptonite. And his plan to take down Superman
was...
Every move he made was just strategic. As soon as Superman came to their fight, Batman took a couple of steps back to make Superman take a few steps forward. And it wasn't because Batman was like, I don't want to fight you. He made it look like that, took a few steps back, and then bombarded him with like... Sound waves. I was like, that is so cool. And then the next moment he had him flying up and he shoots. It's just like
4 Gatling guns pop out of boxes. And...
He knew that, knowing full well that wouldn't kill him, but... distract him enough to cause him to
throw him a little bit off of his game.
And then eventually you get into the fight. He gets him onto the roof, and then he does I can't remember exactly what he does, but he does something small that causes Superman to be facing the wrong way, and so that when he turns around, Batman's got the gun and they just shoots him with the aerosol can,
which of course Superman catches next to his face,
and then it explodes in his face. I was just like, damn, that's cool. And then Superman, you can see the terror in Superman as he's just like, what the heck? Why can't I breathe? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then you get this awesome fight where Batman owns him.
Yeah. Batman in his like mech suit.
Just owns him. And then I love it in the one moment where he's just punching him in the face and it slowly goes and then douche. And Batman just goes, it just has that look of, oh, damn. Knowing full well this was going to happen, but hoping it wouldn't happen. And then Superman comes back on top.
Yeah.
And starts owning Batman.
Until the second round of aerosol haze.
Yes. And then he pulls it off again in a way that it's as Superman is just about to attack him, he just gets loaded and shoots him.
Yeah.
But he uses Superman's own power against him in the sense that Superman thinks he's so all-powerful. Not all-powerful, but... Invulnerable. And then so Superman doesn't just attack him straight away. He takes his time a little bit. Just goes, okay, you're really starting to piss me off. Stands up. And because of those moments, Batman gets that chance to reload. Whereas if Superman was smarter in his fighting, which...
Well, it's more if Superman was coming in for the kill shot. If Superman from the beginning rocked up and said, I'm just going to kill Batman, it would not have...
No, it wouldn't have got that far.
And even at those points, you can see the whole time he's holding back. Because later on when you see him fight Doomsday, he uses the laser eyes, but...
He doesn't use them against Batman.
Like, he's not trying to kill Batman. He's trying to subdue Batman so we can get back to, I've got to talk to you. Like, it's not...
I'm here to say, I want you to help me save my mum.
But Batman's just not willing to listen, which is what... Until he finally hears his own mother's name, which just happens...
Which, we'll get to that. I want to talk about the rest of the fight, because I loved the fight. I thought they did a really good job of it. And so, I love that moment where, Superman is in that moment when he's just going, okay, you pissed me off, I'm going to take you down now.
Yeah.
And those extra moments give Batman that chance to get the second grenade off. I love it how when at one point, even under the influence of the kryptonite, he stops Batman's kick and throws him through the wall. And then you look at the wall, and it's like Batman's cut out of his leg. I was like, that was cool. And then he ends up with the spear that Batman made from earlier, and Batman's got him dead to rights. Cuts him on his face and and just as a bit of torture for that Superman then utters the name Martha. And obviously Martha's the name of Batman's mum, and he freaks out going, how the hell do you know my mother's name? Yeah. And he just keeps grilling him going, how the heck? And then Lois comes in and goes, that's his mother's name.
He's got his foot across Superman's throat, and he's got kryptonite right in his face. So Superman's not really in a very good place to be answering questions.
No. Which
probably a similar place after you waterboard someone, then you ask them, they'll tell you whatever the hell they can possibly tell you. Like,
which is not going to be very coherent.
Yeah, once you talk to someone enough, it doesn't matter if they're Superman or not, they're not going to be very coherent.
No, and then Lois coming in and then going, it's his mother's name. And in that moment, I people did think it was a little quick, talking with a couple of guys afterwards, that Batman turned a little quick. But I think it was a moment that he'd looked into Superman's eyes.
Yeah.
But it was in that moment that he's realised he is fearful not of what Batman's going to do to him, but of what's going to happen to his mother.
Yeah.
And he sees in that moment, when he realises that Martha is his mother's name as well, that he sees his humanity.
Yeah.
No longer sees him as just some alien that's trying to be an overlord that can possibly kill anything and everything. He sees it that he is actually human. He got raised as a human. Yeah. He sees the fear of Superman of losing his mum,
which brings him back to when he lost his own parents and how he felt.
Yes, and he realizes in that moment, this guy's not my enemy.
No.
I still am right not to trust him, but right now, Lex Luthor is the guy we need to.
Yeah.
And then Superman's like, I need to save Mum, and Batman's like, I'll save your mum. You go deal with Lex.
Yeah.
And then we get another awesome Batman scene where Batman goes to where Martha's being held, and now not in his mech suit anymore, back in his normal suit. And then...
Because the mech suit was designed as extra heavy equipment to protect him against Superman. And
he can't use that. Because you're watching his entire fight scene, he's not very...
fast, he's not very...
He's just all power, all real slow punches, where he's just using the extra mech suit to get in those punches against Superman. But then you see his fight style in... where there's 24 men, and I love it how they drop him in below, and he can't, and they're all like waiting for a door, and then he pops up through the floor, and then they're all fire through the floor, and he's up the top, and he just like picks out a couple of the guys first, strings them up, and then drops down. And there's this one section in that fight where he's actually fighting 4 guys at once, where they're all trying to hit him at the same time, and that's where the whole another fight scene that I really, really enjoyed. That it's not like, oh look, one guy's going for him, now the next guy,
and he's not quite perfect. He gets stabbed.
He gets hit multiple times.
But he also, like, a lot of the times you see someone get hit and it just glances off, but he gets stabbed and it's not...
He pulls it out of him.
It's not inconsequential. Like it's actually caused injury stab.
That's what I liked about it. Every hit he actually got hit by, he actually had to readjust his whole fight.
Yeah.
And adjust. And like you said before, like in that other fight, he would be taking on 2 guys and then see another guy and take that guy out. Yeah. And then he would be fighting another 2 guys and then see a guy with a gun and quickly throw something at him and then rip him down and then hanging people with string and then
or like stringing one guy to his cord and using that guy to knock out 3 other guys and
he uses the gun and actually kills people.
Yeah.
Which it made sense to me. I mean, I know Batman doesn't really kill often at all. He does every now and then in the comics, but he's not much of a killer. But I thought in the context of this movie and the way it was made, I liked the fact
he's also made a promise to Superman that he's going to save Superman's mum, so he knows if he doesn't, he's in a little bit of bother.
But another bit was...
if the guy you've promised to save his mum is also the guy you are terrified that can wipe out humanity, you're probably going to be willing to knock out a few criminals to save it. Like,
he doesn't kill them all.
I could kill like 3 or 4 criminals and save all of humanity. Yeah, that suits Batman's idea.
But I really liked... Yeah, he got stabbed.
Yeah.
And he took him down and they almost got on top of him. And he ends up using them to get stabbed with, the stab of the guy.
Yeah.
Then take out another guy. And then when he finally gets into the room, I knew it was coming. The 2 guys in the room, the one main bad guy, and then he's kind of offside. He's got the gun at the door. And I was just like, the wall's right behind him. He's going to come through the wall.
I was half expecting him to have dropped from the ceiling down, or for the chair with Martha on it to drop down to the level below.
That would have been cool too, but I really liked he goes through the wall, pulls this guy and holds him and then puts the gun at the main bad guy. And he's got a flamethrower and he's just like, I'll do it. And Batman's like, I believe you. Then shoots the freaking flamethrower and then moves the guy and then protects him and Martha from using his cape from this the explosion, and then tells Martha,
I'm friends with your son.
I'm friends with your son.
And she's just like, duh, like, are you stupid?
I figured the cape. I love that because she was just like, obviously. You just took out all the bad guys. You just freaking, you have a cape, you dress up like my son. Totally different, but...
Yeah. It's still really funny.
That was a cool moment. Oh, man.
So while that's happening, Superman's gone off to fight Lex. And...
Lex is still convinced that Superman's beaten Batman.
Yeah. So
in that moment, he's actually going, oh, that's disappointing. And he's like, waits for the call about Martha.
No, he calls them. Like,
oh, yeah.
Let's hear the bad news. And then it's Batman on the other end. And he's just like, what the hell?
And then his contingency plan.
Which I don't think ever was a contingency plan. I think he was always...
That was always his main plan.
Was always going to have Doomsday to do his bidding to take out the survivor.
Yes.
Because if you've got like a 3-man standoff, the way you win a 3-man standoff is you get the other two guys to obliterate the hell out of each other, and then you just mop up the scraps.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting with Doomsday how they used Zod's body.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, Doomsday is a genetically engineered Kryptonian being built to kill.
Yeah.
And they abandon the project, and he ends up being abandoned on Earth. And then Lex Luthor finds the cavern, releases him with his own DNA in some way, shape, or form, which he does in the movie as well, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And that releases Doomsday to kill Superman, because Doomsday's built to kill Kryptonians. That's the whole point of Doomsday in the comics. So what he does with the ship in this, the ship that was in Man of Steel that crashed, is that he gets access
with
to...
the Genesis tape.
Yeah, with the Genesis tape.
Which we talked about could bring Kryptonians back.
And,
we brought that up.
and even in that moment, he uses his own blood, and then the computer tells him that he's not allowed to do what he's doing.
Because of the...
genetic manipulation, because of the Kryptonian Council. And he goes, are they still alive?
Yeah,
Where are they? And they're like, they're all dead. He's like...
We'll go ahead.
And so creates Doomsday out of Zod.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting little twist and changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was good because it makes a bit of sense that the Genesis Chamber wouldn't have all the materials potentially to build stuff from scratch. Like it's in a damaged ship on the wrong planet without any backup or supplies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense they would have to wrangle it a bit differently.
I was like, oh, Doomsday doesn't quite look like Doomsday. I was like, and they had this fight, and then they went up into space, and then they nuked him, and he came down, and he was still alive, Doomsday, and Superman's still up in space. And then Doomsday awakens up, and he rips off his skin, and then out pop the like bone structures that you know of, and I'm like, okay, there's Doomsday. It's a little bit different than the comics, but done in a way that I really like.
It's done really well, except for the fact that obviously sun radiation and nuclear radiation are the same thing, except for in comic book world where nuclear bombs hurt Superman but sun doesn't. So obviously
different type of radiation. Let's
being a bit of a science nerd. Obviously, when they wrote these things to start with, they were still really just understanding nuclear energy.
Yes.
Obviously now it's different, but like other heroes have changed through time as different sciences.
But didn't your brother even say if it was a different bomb, it would react differently?
Yeah, if it was fusion with... Because the sun works on fusion power and different levels of nuclear bombs work on fission or fusion. So yes, it would be slightly different, but the types of radiation released are not massively different. So, but either way, it does seem a little bit funny to me that the sun makes him like reincarnate and a nuclear bomb turns him Ethiopian, not to be PC.
I really like that though, because that's actually really comic.
That the sun like revitalizes him so
Not
much.
only that, but a nuke actually makes him, shrivels him up and makes him really, really weak. So it's actually, and then the sun.
Yeah, so throwback to the comics again, but
again, and I really like, Batman. It's then like, damn, I've got to take on this guy by myself now. Yeah. He goes, he's Kryptonian. I got to go get the spear. And at that point, Lois has realized as well, I've got to go get the spear. Damn it, I throw that into the freaking
pond.
This massive pond that's really deep, and I've got to go find that now. But it's even in that moment, Batman gets defeated. Yeah, but he gets knocked down, and he looks at Doomsday and goes, shit.
But I don't understand why Batman's response is, let's bring Doomsday with me to go collect the spear, as opposed to let's go get the spear and just drop it out of a plane at him.
Well, the theory, I think, with Batman was he was in a place that could have gone to
Metropolis or Gotham.
Or Gotham, and he went, I know somewhere where it's uninhabited. I need to draw him there so he's away from civilians.
Yeah, I still reckon if he'd gone straight for the spear and come back, it would have been more sensible. But
yes and no. I think in the context of the movie, it made sense that he drew him with him, so he didn't just randomly go on a rampage and kill possibly millions of people before he got back.
Yeah, it does make sense in a way, but if I was Batman, I would have played it differently.
It's a good thing you're not Batman.
But they do say if you can always be yourself, unless you can be Batman, then be Batman.
True, but
so if I was Batman,
I did like the fact that Batman his plane got knocked out.
Yep.
And he's just gone, I'm not going to get there in time. Doomsday is just about to destroy me. And then Wonder Woman jumps in.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
With her shield of indestructibility.
Yeah.
And sword.
Yep. They're both from the gods. So that's why.
Well, yes, but obviously that's not been explained yet.
No, because that'll be hopefully explained in Wonder Woman.
Well, yes. And also her knowledge of a whole pile of where artifacts are around the Earth.
Yeah.
Because that's already mentioned earlier when she's being just herself. I don't think her name's ever mentioned as...
she's called Miss Prince at some point.
Okay, Miss Prince.
As she's walking out of the plane to go take on Doomsday.
She's on a plane about to fly somewhere, and then she packs up and just gets walked off the plane, and the flight attendant's like, what the hell are you doing? You can't do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes back. I don't know sure where she smuggles her shield, sword, and obviously lasso, which you see later.
I don't know where either, but I don't care.
Because I don't know, in the current world, post superheroes, smuggling weapons onto planes might be frowned upon.
Might be,
because the government's already suspicious as hell of everyone.
Yeah, but I loved when Wonder Woman showed up, and I was just like, and then you had that moment when Superman then also rocked up, and the Superman's like, "Is she with you?" He's like, "I thought she was with you."
Yes,
it's a cool little exchange.
Which was one of the scenes in the trailer.
Yes, I did know that one was in the trailer.
Which is it's a very like that scene and the scene with Luthor saying he's introduced the two of them, loving bringing people together. Are the two scenes in the trailer that I thought were the best. Executed.
Yeah, that's cool. I really and then that fight scene was really, really cool. Batman doesn't actually do a lot of the fighting. He stands off because he knows he doesn't have a chance, and it's all Superman and Wonder Woman, and Batman just kind of stays in the periphery.
Although he does have his final grenade, because you see him make 3 originally, and then
fires that at him.
Fires at him at one point.
Yes, Wonder Woman's fighting him, and then you just see this, and then you see Batman off in the distance, and it kind of like zooms in on him, or cuts to him, and he's like a fair distance away, and that was a cool moment too. And then directly after that, Batman then has this awesome moment where he outruns Doomsday for quite a bit.
Yep.
When Doomsday's trying to take him down, because Superman's disappeared at this point to try and save Lois.
Because he's heard a thumping sound and be like, wonder what that could possibly be.
And then Superman goes and grabs the thing, and then
like half kills himself by drowning, gets the spear to the surface, and has to be pulled out
by Lois.
Then
who throws the
spear away, so he rejuvenates a little bit. Because he's not next to...
and then they have the lovey-dovey moment where he goes,
he's like, I love you, but I'm going to save everyone else anyway. And she's like, no. And he's like, yes. And she's like, no. She's like, I love you. And then he goes and gets the job done.
Oh, that was it. And then...
But the
cool thing is you had Wonder Woman subduing Doomsday before he had...
Yeah. But, and that's when you see her lasso of, indestructibility.
Which is the lasso of truth, but it's more than that.
That lasso,
can't be cut.
Can't be cut. If you've been lassoed with it, you are bound by it until she decides you're no longer bound by it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Thor's hammer. He can put it wherever the hell he wants and you can't move it.
Unless you Vision.
Well, yeah, that. Or an elevator. But, it's one of those impossible constructs and then, of a hero.
Yeah, Superman, with the spear and then runs it through him, and then freaking Doomsday grows a thing and then just shoves it into his heart. I was just like, yo, they're going to kill Superman. That was the moment that I went, he's going to die in this movie. I had a feeling because it's Doomsday, and I'm like, you can't really do Doomsday without killing Superman. I'm like, that was the sole purpose of Doomsday's introduction into his comics was to kill Superman.
Yeah.
And that was the moment they went, they're actually going to do it. And then he runs it through again, and then he dies.
And yeah, before this, humanity has realized they're screwed because their most powerful weapon basically powers Doomsday up.
Yes.
So they're like,
and the general, who's now a senator from Man of Steel, is just like,
we can't do anything.
He's unkillable.
We're
just screwed.
We've just nuked Superman and he's disappeared. Because obviously, at this point, Superman hasn't been rejuvenated, come back down.
Yeah.
But so they think they've killed Superman, who was their best chance at winning.
And they just decided to nuke both of them.
And now Doomsday is powered up and just unstoppable. They're like, well, we may as well just pack up and go to a new barren planet because we're screwed. But anyway, so then Superman comes down and he's trying to play Laser Eyes with Doomsday, which, in my opinion, was a terrible idea because, well, it's radiation again. But of course, Superman might not know that Doomsday gets powered up by radiation because. Well,
and I think they figure it out just after they throw him into into something, and another explosion of.
Yeah, he throws him through the it's called petrol tank.
Yeah.
Things. But it's possible Superman just thinks the lasers will distract him. Because I think when he does it, it stops him chasing Batman again.
Yes, that's actually.
So I think Superman might know it's not going to be effective, but it was enough to distract him.
It was also in a moment after this is after he's gone punchy punch with him for ages, and his punching's not working. So he's gone, I'm going to try something else here quickly.
He should have gone with the ice breath,
which we haven't seen yet from him in these movies. So maybe he doesn't know about that yet.
He doesn't have an ice heart, cold heart. Maybe he has to die and get a cold heart before he can breathe ice. He's been chilled to the bone.
Yeah.
It's a very chilling experience having a near-death experience, a post-death experience.
But yeah, I love, and then that scene with Batman lowering him down to Wonder Woman and Lois Lane was that moment was a really cool, iconic moment. I really liked that shot.
It's a well done shot.
And then you got the funerals, and you have the Clark Kent funeral, which is just really small and just local people. Then you had the Superman.
Well, it's the local people plus two random people hanging out under a tree.
Yes, but you don't see them until later, which is Bruce Wayne.
They're very sneaky and hiding under a tree.
Yes. Well, they're not really hiding, but they're off in the distance. Yeah. Which I thought was cool.
And the Daily Planet says we lost one of our own, which does make it really difficult for when Superman comes back. He's not going to be able to get a job.
But the interesting thing being is
maybe
they've seen Clark Kent disappeared, a couple of weeks before, or at least a couple of days before the fight with Doomsday, and so in their mind he's disappeared before.
Yeah.
And then so Superman's then gone on this fight, and Clark Kent's already disappeared before that. So which then puts that little bit less of a linkage between Clark Kent being Superman, which I really like.
Now they can bring him back and make him Peter Parker because I said the wrong thing before. But the point is, if Superman returns, he can't be Kent anymore. Because
I'm not sure how they dealt with that in the comics, actually.
I don't remember that series either. But obviously, for his mother, it'll be fine. He can just walk up and be like, I'm very sorry about your son. And just not say anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But he can't get a job anymore. Who's going to take photos of the Superman?
Well, he doesn't take photos of himself.
Yeah. But if he's going to be Peter Parker. I'm going to keep running with this, alright?
We'll just go with it.
Because I've already made the mistake once. Now it's canon.
It's canon.
It's cross-universe canon. It's cinematic
Clark
universe.
Kent is Peter Parker.
It's cinematic universe canon. Because all cinematic universes are the one. But yeah, so...
I absolutely freaking love this movie.
And it talks about how the American public don't know how to honour Superman.
Yes, that was cool.
They can only honour him as a soldier, so they give him the military funeral with 21 gun salute.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't actually show out 21 gun, but you see...
But Batman says that to... Bruce Wayne says that to Diana Prince or Wonder Woman in the under the tree scene where they have their little exchange.
And basically say, we're going to form...
the Justice League.
A bunch of metahumans. Because obviously, they can use metahumans because it doesn't infringe on anything else rights because DC's involved directly on both.
Well, DC owns... Well, Warner Brothers owns all the DC's.
Yeah. Whereas on the other universes, Marvel sold off things so they can't use the same names and they get themselves in a whole bunch of trouble using certain names, whereas... Yeah. Oh no, we're gonna get sued.
Inhumans instead.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Whereas DC can use all of their names because they own all their stuff.
Yes. But man, I'm so excited.
And we didn't really touch on the mini scenes, like Aquaman scene.
Oh,
He looks cool.
I'd said this, I don't know whether I said this last week, or I just talking to you about it. Anyway.
Possibly just us.
If you want to make Aquaman not seem like the butt of jokes and be the badass he actually is really in the comics, cast Jason Momoa.
It's cast well. And
it may not be the orange clad shirt and the blonde hair and the pretty boy looks, but I think in the context of this universe, Jason Momoa is the perfect choice for Aquaman. To get rid of that, Aquaman's the butt of all jokes.
Yes.
Because, I mean...
Now the butt of all jokes... He's Superman. He died. He's a terrible hero.
But with Aquaman, I think it's perfect casting choice. Not in the sense that he looks like the comic book character, but he embodies the badass that Aquaman actually is.
And we've discovered the Flash likes to drink milk.
Yes.
Or at least...
And
at least look at milk in fridges. He takes it out of the fridge and he's holding it. So
saves the store clerk and then looks at the milk and then the video cuts.
But the Flash likes milk.
I actually
you heard it here first.
I actually like the look of him as much as I would love it to have been Grant Gustin from the Flash TV series. How awesome would that be?
But Grant's also said himself he knows why it wouldn't work and stuff.
Yeah, I agree that it wouldn't work. I like how DC have kept the cinematic and TV universe separate. The only downside is the only character that seems to be able to cross over to the TV universe is the Flash. There's no other characters, obviously, except in Supergirl, the acknowledgement of Superman.
They've done that a couple times.
And obviously with the TV
Lois
show...
Lane. Lois Lane was in both.
I wasn't... Anyway. And with Gotham referencing all the bad guys, we're not sure where that sits, whether it's what part of the TV universe or movie universe.
I don't think it's either.
I think it just sits in its own little pocket.
I think Gotham's in its we're going to campily reference everyone universe.
Yeah. Which I don't like. Anyway,
what I like
about it is they are separate, and as cool as it would be for them to be together, it then means especially because the Flash on the TV series has already established itself. It's in its second season. You then have to
and
in
it
the
ties
movie
into it's called the Arrow in its third and
fourth.
Yeah, sorry, and then Supergirl in its first.
It just gets too hard in that sense, and it then gives them more creative decisions in the TV universe and movie universe. It means also in the movie universe they don't have to be like, okay, we've got to explain some of the TV series now into the movies and then waste time in the movie. Technically, they're kind of going to have to do that anyway, but they can do it in their own sense.
They can do it very similar to the beginning of this movie with the ending of that. They can do the origin stories of each of these other characters they're bringing in, which they can throw in whatever time they want, as in Wonder Woman being hundreds of years ago. And then we don't know how old they're going to claim Aquaman is. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Obviously, people who read the comics know Aquaman is not actually human. No. He's Atlantean, which means he's a merman. Kind of. Which is where the butt of the jokes come from, because he telepathically talks to fish. Yeah. But he actually doesn't technically talk to fish. He commands them. Yeah. And he is as strong as Superman, if not stronger. Especially when he walks up. Yes. I was kind of... If you don't like Aquaman and you read comics, read the New 52's Jeff Johns run on Aquaman. He will change your mind. I almost thought that because the spear is that nice spear thing that was sinking in the water, and you previously seen the mini thing, I was kind of thinking maybe Aquaman was going to come out of that and throw the spear or something, and you would see just the arm or whatever, just a shot of him throwing it, but never the rest of the heroes not knowing what happened. Just somehow coming to the surface and Lost just grabbing it from the surface. That or it being thrown by someone, or not even thrown at Doomsday, just thrown out of the water so Superman can use it. Yeah, so I thought possibly they'd do something like that, just so they putting more into reinforcement that Batman knows they're going to have to work together at some point, and these other guys are aware of what's going on, because King of Atlantis does know what's happening at the surface.
Yes.
He's chosen not to interfere. He's chosen to keep his people secret and safe.
Yes.
Probably, especially after seeing how they reacted to Superman.
Oh, yeah. I hope they play up that. Or not play up that, but incorporate that in some kind of way. I think they will with the Aquaman movie.
When Aquaman comes out, I don't think he's going to be admitting that there's more of them. I think he may come... Like, obviously, Batman, Bruce Wayne, will find him and convince him that we can work together.
Yeah.
And Batman may discover the rest of the Atlantis, but I think Aquaman will probably make a deal on the lines of, fine, I'll come work with you, but if you mention my stuff, I'm burning Gotham to the ground.
Yeah.
Plus everything else, but like, I'm starting with your place and exposing everything about you.
What was really cool about that short little snippet that you had of him? It's only like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He had his trident as well.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Which is a very powerful trident.
Yes.
It's the power of Poseidon from mythology. It's not like I have a spear with 3 prongs. It's the ruler of the ocean's power.
Yes.
And then
I'm excited to see what they do with the Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg. A lot of people wouldn't have known in that little Flash that is Cyborg.
I picked it up after they'd started building him, but I didn't pick up just from the symbol. I'm like, what the hell is that symbol?
I did.
Yeah.
And then when you saw the actor Joe Morton playing his dad in Star Labs and creating him, basically, I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, so I figured it out. Obviously, I figured it out once they were building him. I'm like, well, that's a cyborg.
It's got to be Cyborg.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a cyborg. Maybe they'll probably give it like he'll get a stupid nickname for part of the movie, and
yeah,
because in Man of Steel they gave him a different nickname for a bit. Someone in the Daily Planet, I'm pretty sure they called him something else.
Yeah, at first.
So I think they may play.
Yeah, they may play that as well,
but they may not.
The one thing I got from this movie is, can I please have a Batman movie?
But where do you want the Batman movie to be set? Care. So, from the ages of 0 to 5, before his mum gets killed.
No, I just mean, I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman. And I'm not ashamed of that. Like, a lot of people didn't like the choice of Ben Affleck. And I was a little wary at first, but I was like, no, I'm not going to make a judgment until I watch the movie. Now that I've watched the movie, I think he owns
Bruce
Batman.
Well, the trailers came out, everyone was like, happy as he's Bruce. Like, he's got Bruce Wayne down.
Oh, and he plays the older Bruce Wayne that's not so chirpy, that's a little bit more judgmental of everything. He plays that really, really well. Love that.
Which might make it harder for him to play the really young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, they may not play a younger Bruce Wayne. Who knows what they will do with it. But I actually really think he killed it as Batman too.
Yeah, he did. Like, it was well done.
Yeah, I absolutely. I want to see more of him before I make a decision on who my favorite Batman is. At the moment, it's Christian Bale for me. But there's lots about that I saw in this movie that made me go, he did that better than Christian Bale. Christian Bale was good as both most of the time, but there was a lot of moments where as both, it didn't quite play out. And they're totally different types of movies. Those movies, the Dark Knight trilogy, was not a comic book adaptation. They were Batman character making it a real world movie.
Yeah.
Trying to make you think that it is based on a comic book. And that's what made them great. And what made them good is it was like, hey, yeah, we know he's a comic book character, but forget the comics. We're not making him a comic book character here. This is a real world where there's no superheroes. Batman's the only hero. Yep. Let's sit him in that. Whereas this he feels to me like the comic book Batman that I know.
Yeah.
Particularly the Dark Knight Returns one. Which technically isn't canon, but let's not go into that. Anyway. Oh man, so much to go through. So much.
There's so much. All these things have that isn't canon and fan fiction. And
yes, there's lots of that. But what I love about this Batman is he suits this universe perfectly. I think Ben Affleck was a great casting choice. I honestly, right now, I can't think of anyone else that would have done a better job. And I say that about all the cast as well.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. For the Lex Luthor they wanted, perfect. Gal Gadot Got it? Get it. Get it. However you say her name, she was actually brilliant as Wonder Woman. She played a perfect Diana Prince without ever knowing her name is Diana Prince. Just really like doesn't want to be involved. Just wants to get certain stuff back so she's not revealed. Just live her life not in the limelight, which will come into play in the Wonder Woman movie. And then when she shows up as Wonder Woman, she actually killed it. Like I didn't feel like at any point going, she doesn't look like she actually fits, or doesn't feel like she actually can stick it up.
She's at least as fierce as the two of the guys. So she's just like...
Easily. She holds it together again with those two.
And doesn't back down from this beast, which is owned Superman. And she knows how powerful these other two are.
Yes.
And she's just like, yeah, whatever, like, we're in this together. Like, we have to get this done.
Yeah, she realizes, and that's why she gets off the plane and stuff, that I need to be there to help this because... Yeah. Anyway, I love... As much as I didn't like to admit it, but I was a little bit wary of the casting, but I always reserve judgment until you see it. There's obviously a reason they think that actor is perfect for the job, and they obviously were in this movie perfect for the job. I don't see anyone else really off the top of my head that after seeing the movie.
Oh, the glass jar wasn't cast very well. It should have been a mug with
PhD.
It was funny, but I don't think it should have been a glass jar.
I think
it's a little bit too hipster for a senator. But a very good in-joke for the movie.
Yes.
See the movie and you will have known what we're talking about. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this, you're an idiot.
You've
done it backwards. Yeah,
we just spoke for an hour about this movie.
You've done it backwards. I'm sorry, but yeah.
We're going to wrap it
Hopefully
up now.
Hopefully you know the Flash, you can go back in time.
We're going to wrap this up now. I feel like I could probably talk for another... there is one more thing I want to say. The music. I freaking loved it. There was moments where it probably... But the cool thing was, there was totally different theme for the four main characters.
Yeah.
Or four... Like, you had this... You had the Clark and Lois sort of music that goes on.
Yep.
You had the Superman fighting stuff. And then you had Batman music, which was really good. And then you also had Lex Luthor stuff with a single violin in a lot of it. Was really, really cool. And then you also had some Wonder Woman style music. And it all just really played nicely together. And what I liked about it, it was a little bit disjointed in places.
Told you who you're focusing on a bit as well.
That's what I liked about it. Because the movie jumps between Batman and then Superman, that's why it felt a little bit disjointed. But the reason I think it felt a little bit disjointed as well is it wasn't your typical superhero movie music. No. Like it wasn't like this typical music, which I love still, but there was something about it that made you go, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
This is bringing out a different emotion than I expected to bring out in this scene just because of the way the music was going.
Yeah, and the music tied in with some of the shots made it feel more comic book.
That's what I loved about it.
Like, some of the shots were done in such a way that the character in the shot looked like a drawing. They didn't look like a photo of a person. Some of those stills would look like drawings as opposed to photos. Which
particularly the Wonder Woman one.
Yeah, which makes it more comic book, which is the essence they're going for in this reboot of the universe, it seems.
And I love that.
This is the DC comics, not like cinematic universe, not just a DC universe. It's the comics.
Yes.
Is the main point of this. Which is why their universe is so different, and it's also a grittier universe than the Marvel or any of the other people who've done adaptations like Dark Horse and stuff have done for other movies.
But I love both DC and Marvel, and I'm loving that DC has gone, hey Marvel, you've done great. Even like a lot of it, there is a little bit of rivalry, but there also are some DC comics guys.
They are fighting over some of the same market share.
Yeah, but everybody can love both. I don't see why that. I have a mate who's a Marvel fanboy. He's the complete opposite of me. He loves Marvel more than DC, but still enjoys DC stuff.
Yep.
I love DC a heck of a lot more than Marvel, but I still very much enjoy what Marvel does. Yep. That's you, Darren. Just thought I'd give him the shout out. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, you can love both equally, even if you do have a bit more of a preference. I'm obviously a little bit more of a DC fanboy, as I was like... I had the biggest grin on my face as we walked out. I was like...
Basically, we walked outside, and there was basically a flashlight. just moving around. Like, who's over there? I don't know. Maybe Jared's face.
It really was that. People were asking me how if I enjoyed it, and I just looked at them and just smiled. They're like, "You enjoyed that, didn't you?"
You didn't really need to turn around. You could feel the excitement, like Electro. You were like the buzz around you. It was funny. People ask the question. I'm like, "Are you freaking stupid? You can't feel." No, he hated it.
Oh man! And then seeing people.
We give it 5 out of 7. Same as Cloverfield 10 Cloverfield Lane. 5 out of 7's all round. We're gonna get in trouble because.
Oh man!
I can't rate this higher than 10 Cloverfield, but I'd rate it the same. These are both very, very different reasons.
But because of my DC fanboy, this is my favorite movie. But from my filmmaking point of view, 10 Cloverfield Lane is still my favorite.
So I'd say they're equal, but they're very different films.
And if you had to, for me, if I had to award one as the movie of the year, it would still be 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, I'd do the same.
But
partially because it's so different and did a lot of things differently.
Yes.
But also, the tones of them are very different.
Oh yeah.
And I just like both immensely.
Yes. You can see, I'm just
okay.
I'm a little giddy. Time for us to wrap this up because we've been talking for over an hour now. I'm not even sure exactly what it's at. That says an hour 10.
Yeah.
Which is probably roughly what it is. If you stuck this long, you are awesome.
Yeah.
And you are a true fan. And we love you for watching. We really do. We really appreciate that you watch, especially these longer ones where we just go nuts and
talking
just talk.
So give us comments about what your opinions were on these things. You can hit us up on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page.
Yep.
We've got Twitter going as well. The comments below the video.
Share it if you liked it. Share it to your friends, even the shorter versions. Because we love doing this, and even if we continue with the audience we have, we're still going to do this.
Yeah.
But we would love to reach more people, and we love you for watching. So continue watching, continue liking, subscribing, all the other stuff. If you haven't subscribed, you watch this. You're pretty.
You can click on there to get the previous stuff.
Click on him for the Man of Steel.
We'll be doing the next one. Will be a shorter one called Code 8, which was a short film.
Stephen and Robbie ML.
So
not sure when that's going to come out yet.
But that will be the next one we release because we've got some stuff we need to get done in our other lives. Our non-online life, but that should be coming out reasonably soon.
Yeah, hopefully within 2 weeks sort of thing. And a little bit, we're not sure exactly what our plan is at this moment, but we will be doing.
We'll announce
Solaris.
it. Yep.
And obviously with Captain America: Civil War coming out, we're going to do both Captain Americas in the lead up.
Yeah. So they may be as a double episode or as once each. We haven't fully explored that yet.
We haven't fully planned ahead yet.
No.
We got too distracted by this movie coming out that we went, hang on, we haven't planned ahead.
Yes, so...
Either way, thanks for watching. We're still rambling, so we're going to stop and say you are awesome.
See you next time.
Indeed.